Football Manager 2025 going down the shitter. We need to keep Football Manager 2024 alive, and here is 5 saves you can do to keep FM24 exciting. The first team we are going to be looking at is Reading of Sky Bet League 1. They did find themselves in the Premier League back in the 2006-2007 season, but at this present day they find themselves in Sky Bet League 1. The finances at Reading are currently stable, but it still doesn't change the fact that the Reading fans in their vast majority want Die Young out of their football club, a new owner in, which would bring along new hopes and new dreams for the future. When you first arrive on day one at Reading, there are some very good, talented, exciting players. The first player is Boyce Clark, coming straight through the Reading Academy all the way up to the first team, and looks like a very good goalkeeper for this level. The next exciting young talent brings us to Ben Elliott. Can play centre mid, can play on the right of the midfield as well. Formerly of Chelsea Football Club, but looks like a very talented player. Only 20 years of age, 5-star potential ability. The future's bright. Can you keep hold of these sorts of young guns at the club, or are you going to turn them into a nice sizable sale? The third exciting prospect in the first team is Calvin Abrefa, right back, but can play pretty much anywhere across the back line. 19 years of age, this Ghanaian youngster looks very good indeed. Another player to come through the youth academy here at Reading, finding himself in the first team, got a nice valuation already of just over £1 million. With a nice blend of the youngsters, I think with this squad it is good to have a bit of experience, and that is Andy Yeardom, the 31-year-old Ghanaian. Looks very good indeed. Unlikely to improve, but with that versatility, he could prove to be a very crucial part of the puzzle to get Reading back into the Sky Bet Championship. On the squad though, we've only touched on a small handful of these players, but as you can see from the age of the team, it's very young, so definitely a bright future indeed. With all that young quality in the first team, I think it was never in doubt there was going to be quality in the under-21s and the under-18s. That bringing us nicely along to Jack Senga and Guyi. Can play defensive mid, can play centre half, but can also play centre midfielders as well. 19 years of age, young Belgium, potential ability of 5-star, but looking at them stats already for that age, he may be a player you want to bring straight up to the first team. Up next is the Maltese, Basil Tuma. Looks like a very good player, can play out on the left and the right, but also as a striker as well. Bags of pace, bags of acceleration, finishing of 11 for 18 years of age. Definitely another player to keep an eye on. The final player we are going to look at in the under-21s is Boyd Beecroft. 17 years of age, centre defender, tackling 16, he's already 6 foot tall. Look at them stats, look at their numbers. He's got the key foundations to go on to be a very good centre half. Currently 2-star ability, does have the potential ability of 5-star. And for what the coaches are saying, an exciting young prospect who isn't far from first team level. So keep your eyes open guys, if you are to take over Reading, bring up Beecroft to that first team sooner rather than later. Of course, when you do take over at Reading, you will be involved across 4 competitions: the Carabao Cup, the Emirates FA Cup, and of course the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. With the quality of this squad, I don't see why it's not achievable to have a decent cup run in all those, and maybe go on to the latter stages of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. Now in Sky Bet League 1, the board expects us to fight bravely against relegation. And with odds of 200 to 1 to win the title, it looks like it could be a very long and difficult season for Reading. Regarding manoeuvrability in the transfer market, there is little to none. You've got £5,000 in wages left to spend, a transfer budget of 0, and next season things don't get much better. We're expected to get a transfer budget of just over £70,000. So you're really going to have to look to utilise the loan market, work with affiliates, and do what you can to improve this squad. But even though Reading have a very talented squad with that blend of youth and experience, the staff at this level are not good enough at all. So vast improvements also needed in the backroom department. But with restricted finance and not much budget to work with, be under no illusions guys, this is going to be a very, very tough save to restore Reading back to the top flight of English football. The second team is Paris 13 Atletico over in the French National Division. When you arrive on the first day here at Paris Atletico, their facilities, training facilities, youth recruitment is all very, very poor indeed. Definitely a massive room for improvement in that department. But with those poor facilities, you can see why they are at that point. The club is only currently rated as semi-professional. They have crept up through the leagues, where at last they have found themselves in the top 3 leagues of France. It's not going to be no easy save at all. And I'm not too sure what is worse, the poor training facilities, poor youth facilities, or the fact that the ground only holds less than 1,000 people. And with being a semi-professional club also comes with more negatives. With an overall balance of £5,000 and the projection by the end of the 25-26 season is near enough £1 million in debt. Can you look to turn these finances around? Can you get them back in the black financially? On the transfer budget, you will have nothing this year and you will have nothing next year. And with an absolute whopping wage budget of minus £14, there is definitely work to do. Most of the staff as well from day dot are some of the worst in the entire league. You have only got 3 coaches, so you're definitely going to have your work cut out when it comes to training these players. I think, personally, you need to look to get this club turned professional, improve the backroom staff, and improve the facilities as quick as physically possible. But with limited resources, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much the board can do. There are some positives to taking over at Paris Atletico, and that is the location. Slap bang in the middle of Paris. It's going to be a prime location to try and get some slightly better players in. And that means bringing in the likes of Noah Lamardi, coming in on loan from Toulouse FC, 18 years of age. A little bit too good for Paris Atletico, but very, very lucky to have this guy for a season. The second player is Noah Cervantes, on loan from Troyes. 20 years of age, the Algerian, 4-star of current ability, 5-star potential ability. A very, very good player, valued at just over £1 million, so you're not going to be able to sign him no matter how good of a first season you have. He's a very, very talented individual indeed. But these 2 players are the very best of what you've got from day one. The third best player at the football club is Raphael Neuer, the young Frenchman, 23 years of age. Current ability of 3.5 stars, potential ability of 4.5. But you do own this player. 6 foot tall, centre defender, looks very, very solid for this level. Formerly of Paris Saint-Germain and Wolves, he comes with a little bit of pedigree. The question is, can you keep hold of this guy? But overall, ability-wise in the squad, you're going to find it very, very difficult after the first season when them 2 loan players go back. It's a very, very small squad. It's thin on the ground. You're going to need numbers. And if you was hoping to plunder the second team, there are no players worth noting. And with the second team ranked as a poor squad, it definitely gets worse, as there is no players in the under-19s. So really, you are definitely stuck for quality and numbers here at Paris Atletico. Since promotion to the French National League, they are expected to fight bravely against relegation. I'm not surprised. You will be semi-professional with no facilities, no under-19 players, a terrible second team, and your first team is very, very thin on numbers. And predicted to finish smack bang bottom of the French National League, 300 to 1. Be under absolutely no illusions. If you are to take over the job here at Paris 13 Atletico, you are more than likely going to get relegated. In the French Cup, you and your team will enter in the 6th round. It may be a swift entrance, and it could also be a very, very swift exit. Have you got the guts? Have you got the cojones to take over here at Paris 13 Atletico? It's going to be a very, very difficult save indeed. We're going to reiterate once again, semi-professional, no players, no second team, no under-19 team. You have no wages, no transfer budget, and the massive question is, do you have no chance? The third team takes us across to Germany, SP VGG Unterhaching. In the third tier of German domestic football, but there are some good things going for you at the football club. You've got some decent training facilities, decent youth facilities, youth recruitment. Well, you may as well not have any. The club has found itself bouncing around the leagues now from the early 2000s, but this year find themselves back in the third tier of German football. Can you get them to kick on? Can you improve this club on and off the field? Even with those fantastic facilities, we are not going to keep it in a positive spin. Things tend to go a little bit bad now. They've got an overall balance starting off of just under £12 million in debt. The projection doesn't get any better either. At the end of the 25-26 season, they're expected to be pushing upwards of nearly £17 million worth of debt. The backroom staff here at Unterhaching are not in a fantastic place either. Some of the worst in the entire league, and to get the very best out of your players, you're going to really need to look and improve the coaching setup, the recruitment team, and also the medical staff. You have got a small amount of wage budget left, just shy of £4,000, but there is zero transfer budget and don't expect nothing next season either. The squad has some very, very good young talented players. Starting off with Noah Gabriel Simic, the Croatian, looks absolutely unbelievable. Only a 2.5-star current ability at the moment, but has the 5-star potential and could be good enough to play in the Bundesliga. He offers good versatility, he's very good on the ball, and he looks like he could have a very, very bright future indeed. Up next is Fabio Torsiello on loan from Darmstadt 98, but for this level, them stats, them attributes definitely will be able to get you some goals this season. Can he get you anywhere near promotion contention? The only downside is at £1.7 million, even if he has a good season, you won't be able to renew this deal next year when he returns to Darmstadt 98. So while you've got him, definitely enjoy him. Up next is arguably the best player at the football club in Johannes Geis. I've probably absolutely butchered that name, but look at them stats, them attributes for this level of football. He looks absolutely superb. He is under contract for another couple of years, but the question is, guys, can you keep hold of a player of this quality? He has a lot of experience in German football, playing for some very, very good teams. He even had stints in the Bundesliga with Schalke. So a very, very talented individual player here. Can you get the very best out of him? Can you keep hold of him? With a very, very limited transfer budget and wage budget, you're definitely going to want to be dropping into the under-19s or the second team, plundering these players out and getting them in and around the first team. Alexander Luthard currently sat in the under-19s. I think he is a player you could get straight up into the first team, get him some first team experience, get him in a good training and mentoring group, and you could see this player vastly improve very quickly. And the same goes for Elian Haksasay. I'm not too sure if that's how it's pronounced, but an 18-year-old Kosovan looks like a very, very good left back indeed. He is in the Unterhaching second team. If you do take over here, get him into that first team straight away. He can offer some strength and definitely some more depth in quality. You will be involved in 2 competitions from day dot. The DFB Pokal, where you will enter in the first round, and then you're in the third tier of German football, where the board expects you to avoid relegation at all costs. The media don't expect you to go down. You're at 33-1 on to win the title. Yes, you are newly promoted to the league, but look at the numbers, looking at that media prediction, I don't think it will be much trouble getting away from that drop zone. Can you get in and around the playoffs, or dare to dream of automatic promotion in to the second tier of German football? So an exciting project here in Germany for you guys to ponder. There is work to do on and off the field. Is Unterhaching going to be the save for you? Can you get them into the top flight of German football and potentially one day get them involved in some sort of European football? For the fourth team, we are over in Holland in the Eredivisie, and it's none other than Ajax. This team really has seen a fall from grace. They used to win everything domestically. They were one of the best teams in Europe at one point many years ago. There has been a drop-off of quality, no doubt about it, at Ajax now, with PSV and Feyenoord being them teams competing in the Champions League. While Ajax find themselves in the Europa League, there is definitely a big task in hand here. if you're going to take over the helm at Ajax. Financially, they are in a fantastic position. The overall balance just shy of £150 million, and the wage budget is also zero as well. Next season, you can look forward to a budget of around £11 million, but this team has so much young quality. You may be able to move a few of these players on for a healthy profit and really bolster that transfer budget for next season. So as we previously talked about, Ajax is renowned for the young elite talent. But this year, in the squad, they've got some very, very good, talented, experienced players. Which takes us to Jordan Henderson. This guy is going to be able to lead by example, show these young players the way in the team. He's under contract until 2026. And yes, he's not at the peak of his powers like at Liverpool. But be under no illusions, guys, he will offer a lot to this team and the young players on and off the field. Up next is Wout Weghorst, formerly of Manchester United, Besiktas, Burnley. He has a lot of domestic experience, international experience too. He is a proven goal scorer and menace up front, but another player to really lead by example. The third experienced player we are going to look at is Davy Klaassen. He's been at Ajax for ever such a long time, coming through the youth setup back in 2007. Did have a couple of spells away from the club at Everton, Werder Bremen, made his way back to Ajax, but this guy knows everything about Dutch football. He knows everything about Ajax. Still has a big parts to play. He's got some good numbers on there, some decent technicals, decent physicals. But like we said, Henderson, Klaassen, Weghorst, they've got some superb mentals. They're really going to help nurture some of these young lads coming through. Talking of young talent, brings us to Jonel Hatto, the 17-year-old centre-back. Can play anywhere really down the left-hand side. Looks absolutely phenomenal. 5-star potential ability. We'll let the numbers do the talking for themselves. But 17 years of age, this is a player you're going to want to keep hold of as long as possible. He's only on contract until 2025, so you may want to seek to get another deal put onto him, but with a value of 50 to 78 million pounds. If you are to sell him, you are to lose him, you're definitely going to be able to cash in and improve the squad. Up next is David Calico, another Dutch sensation. Can play pretty much anywhere in the attacking part of the field, even as a striker as well, but much more suited to the wide areas. 13 acceleration, 14 pace, very good dribbling, a fantastic first touch of 15. He's got a very bright future. Recently signed a new contract until 2027. Ajax did poach him from VVV Venlo back in 2018-19 season, but he's come on leaps and bounds, worked his way through the second team at Ajax. He's now in the first team, and he's definitely another player to keep an eye on, especially being able to use both feet. Very much a bonus, and you're going to see this player grow into an absolute superstar over the next few seasons. The third young player we are going to highlight is one of my favourite players at Ajax, and it brings us to Kenneth Taylor, 21 years of age, already in the full Dutch national team setup with 4 caps. Centre midfielder, but he is very versatile. Them stats, them numbers. He's strong with his left foot, he's strong with his right foot. He really is a player for all tasks and all occasions. Really bright future ahead of him. He has got a value of 33 to 37 million pounds. When you come into this game, he is getting chased straight away by Borussia Dortmund. He's come through the Ajax setup, worked his way all the way up to the first team. Another player to have recently signed a new contract, and everything good that goes through the middle of the park tends to come through Kenneth Taylor. You're going to want to keep hold of this lad. From top to bottom of this first team squad, there's some quality young players, but also some quality older players as well. They've got a nice blend here. The older players will lead by example, but this team has got a lot of potential, a lot of room to grow, and I think in no time you can have this team competing back at the top table of European football. In the under-18 squad, there is one player in particular I am going to talk about, and it is Aaron Bowman. 15 years of age, he's already 6'2" at 15, determination of 18, he's got a potential ability of 5-star, and although them numbers aren't looking amazing straight away, for 15 guys, marking 14, heading 12, his strength is 9, tackling 11, this kid is going to go on to be an absolute superstar in the future. And after a couple of years, you will find this kid being the heart of your central defence here at Ajax. Throughout the first team, the B team, the under-18s, the quality is absolutely immense. We could be here all day, but when you do arrive here on day one, there is one player in particular I do want to look at and I do want to show you now. You're going to take over here at Ajax and you are going to have potentially the best central defender in the world at your disposal for years to come. And it is Mokio, the 15-year-old Belgium centre-half. Very much play with both feet again. He plays with the ball at his feet. For 15 years of age, I think in a few years here, you are going to have the best central defender in the world on your hands. Already valued at nearly £20 million. As soon as you can, when you're at this football club, get him in and around the first team, get him out on loan, get him some competitive football, but tie this kid down to a long contract. Regarding the backroom staff, there is room for improvement. With all these quality young players coming through, you're going to want the best coaches possible. You want the best in the game domestically and potentially even the best coaches in Europe. But the foundations here at Ajax are set. You're pretty much good to go from the off and fully expect you guys, when you take over, to dominate everything domestically. Just as the board expect, Eredivisie, they want you to win it. You've definitely got the players to be able to do that, and the same will go for the Dutch Cup as well. There is no expectation set yet, but I fully expect the board to say to win it with ease. In the Europa League, it's a bit of a fall from grace going from the Champions League year in, year out to going down to this competition. They would like you to reach the knockout playoff round, but with this sort of quality within the squad here at Ajax, maybe you can go on to win the competition. So it isn't going to be the hardest of saves you're ever going to do, but nonetheless, it's going to be a fun save. Can you get back above Feyenoord and PSV in the Eredivisie? Can you get the team back into the Champions League? Will you be able to nurture some of these young superstar prospects you have coming through the youth team? And maybe, just maybe, even dare to dream of once again winning the Champions League with Ajax. Now the fifth and final selection is my team, and it brings us back over to England, back to the Premier League, and it is the mighty Aston Villa. Regarding facilities, there is not much need for improvement. Training facilities is absolutely top notch. Youth facilities not far off. The youth recruitment could be improved slightly. The only thing I would look to do when you take over here at Aston Villa is look to improve that reputation, and the only way you're going to be able to do that is by bringing home silverware. For Aston Villa, it's been a hell of a long time. Can you step in? Can you deliver their first major trophy in a long while? With the new owners at Aston Villa, finances are not going to be a problem. You've got a starting off balance of just over £200 million. There's always going to be money injected into the club by the people that own it. They're ambitious, so expect a lot of funding and a lot of backing from the board. In the back room, the coaching staff are in a very good place. Some of the best in England. There are still a couple of spaces to improve. You could even look at a new defensive coach and maybe even a new technical coach as well. Where there is room for improvement is in the recruitment and the medical side of things. Maybe, just maybe, you can get some new scouts in, look to improve that, because currently not really in a good position, and to find some of the best players in the world, you're going to need to find and have some of the best scouts available that money can buy. Some of the players at your disposal are absolutely explosive. Some top players. Villa done some huge business in the transfer market, bringing in the likes of Marcus Rashford on loan from Manchester United. He's going to be some player for you on this save. Another wonderful player to have in the squad brings us to the former Real Madrid and PSG man in Marco Asensio. Bags and bags of quality. He can definitely find that ball, thread the pass through the eye of the needle. A player with immense quality on the ball. Can you get the best out of Rashford, out of Asensio? Both their careers have gone a little bit stale over the last 12 months. It's a real opportunity, not just for the players, but also for you, the manager. Can you get them firing on all cylinders once again? Villa have always been a bit light defensively, but the third lone player was Axel Disasi, coming in from Chelsea, a solid centre defender. You have got the options of a Pau Torres, Ezri Konsa, Tyrone Mings, but it's going to be up to you when you step in who is going to be the new centre-back partnership here at Aston Villa. And of course we can't forget the world's #1, Emiliano Martinez, Dibu, the master of shithousery at its best. You have got the world's best goalkeeper, the World Cup winner. If there is any player you want between the sticks, is this guy defending your goal. Even with those world-class loan players coming in, Villa are blessed with quality all over this team. The French left-back in Luca Dean, Boubacar Kamara, a superstar in centre midfield, and let's not forget the likes of Daniel Malen, Ollie Watkins, and of course the Scottish captain in John McGinn. Real quality in this squad, strength in depth. Can you take Aston Villa to the next level? Can you get consistent European football year in, year out? And the most important thing, finally, would be some silverware. When you get to the end of the season, you will have around £30 million to spend. There's still £70,000 left in the wages. And yes, absolutely, it's a very good squad, but still a lot of room for improvements. The board expectations across all competitions in the Premier League, they are saying a top half finish. I think that will change. The money spent, the players in, I think you guys are going to realistically want to be getting in to the top 6 and guaranteeing some sort of European football for next year. In the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, they would like a quarter-final place at the bare minimum. And in the Champions League, can you replicate what the Villa have done in real life and find themselves in the knockout stages? They want that round of 16 at a minimum. Can you deliver it? In the Villa under-21s and under-18s, there is only one notable player, and it is Lamar Bogard. He's not a world beater, but can definitely do a job if called upon. In real life, he is currently in the first team setup. He's done a decent job. He hasn't looked out of sorts. But of course, once again, you're the manager. It's up to you if you think this kid is going to be first team ready. Is Aston Villa going to be your next managerial job on FM24? The foundations are well and truly set for success here at Aston Villa. The only remaining question is, are you going to be able to step in to Emery's boots and bring home the first piece of silverware in a very long time? Let me know down below in the comments if any of these 5 teams have tickled your fancy. Can you lead them to glory? Make sure to give the video a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all soon.